Welcome back to the Broker Power Up podcast, the AIME podcast for strategy, stories, and insights to help you close more loans. I'm Tommy Golightly, joined by Jonathon and Dad. How are you?
Good, brother. In Las Vegas right now as we're filming this. It's posted Monday, but here for, and I know we're going to dive into June's Fortune cookie that we
Yep.
had a while
Oh,
back.
absolutely.
But it's awesome. My wife's birthday weekend, so pretty excited. We got a lot of fun stuff planned. Get away for a little bit. Kids are watched by my mom. Thanks, Mom. Appreciate you. Love you. But that's about it, man. What about you?
Things are going well. We got a lot of things going on behind the scenes here at AIME that are all chugging along, and I'm really excited for Fuse. All the things that we're talking about doing right now. Can't talk about them, obviously, but super excited to get there. And yes, we do have a fortune cookie from a bunch of episodes ago. We set a calendar reminder on our calendars to remind us of this when we hit June. It was the month of June will be filled with laughter and fun. So I think that will be your weekend this weekend. As I hope it will be filled with laughter and fun.
Yeah, you know what? We had fun yesterday. It was a little stressful traveling yesterday. But we went to dinner at Joe's Seafood. We had a blast, lots of laughter, lots of fun. We have three really young babies, and so sometimes it's a little difficult to get out. So so far there's been a lot of joy, a lot of laughter, and then at the end of this month we have a family trip to Mackinac Island in Michigan. So hoping continuing to have a lot of fun, a lot of laughter. It does bring put your energy in a really great place. Just laughing and having a good time. What about you? Do you have anything scheduled, planned?
Yeah, actually, we're gonna have to figure out multiple recording dates for a week that I'm gone because I'm going to the beach to Rehoboth with my parents and family, and so that will be a ton of fun in July. But yeah, tonight I'm going to see Disclosure Day, so gonna go find out about the aliens.
Yeah.
How they've been here the whole time. But that's not what we got going on today. We have a lot. We got the Broker Buzz, where we're going to dive into the top post of the week from the Brokers Our Best Facebook group and discuss what's trending, what's working, and what you need to know. The sales pitch training, where John helps us become better salespeople, and there's going to be a story attached to it today. So, do we want a new fortune for today, or is the June one good?
No, I want to keep the June one. I like
Cool.
it. I like
Absolutely. Reminded of the past. So let's dive right into the Broker Buzz with our first question of the week. Is it possible to transfer a property inspection report like transferring an appraisal where there is a value waiver with Freddie?
Okay, so you don't need to. It's not a transfer. If you rerun the findings with the potential new client, generally speaking, you will get the appraisal waiver back. So basically, to my understanding of what you asked, is okay. You have a property. Let me read it again, Tommy. Put it up. Just want to make sure that I'm reading this and answering correctly. It is possible to transfer a property inspection report like transferring an appraisal where the value. So if you're saying you're with the client and you're switching to a new lender, if that's what you're saying, it's in the AUS findings. Now, if you're saying I have a house and then Tommy makes offer on house and then you get appraisal waiver, then Tommy backs out and then Jonathon Haddad comes in, makes offer on house, it's still the same thing. It's all going to be through your AUS findings. But there are times where the AUS findings will go away when it comes to the appraisal delivery report. And the reason that happens a majority of the time is that the AUS findings goes through the massive collateral database that Fannie Mae has, and it finds out that an appraisal was done on the property. So sometimes we'll lose those waivers because the seller may have done an appraisal on the property within the last 6 months, or a previous buyer did it for like an FHA deal. So if you ever lose the waivers, it's for one of those couple reasons. But it's not really transferring. You should just get it back as you run AUS findings, even if you switch lenders or switch borrowers based on the property, as long as you meet the criteria for an appraisal waiver through Freddie or Fannie directly.
Got it. And our second question. Has anyone ever dealt with a client who had past financial crime convictions, have a potential buyer who was convicted of wire and bank fraud with SBA loans a couple years ago, seems to be back on the straight and narrow now, but I was not sure if this is something that would be picked up in a compliance audit and cause the loan to be denied. I am a little hesitant, but the client is very eager to buy a home.
Okay, one lot going on here. Okay, and obviously, won't get into the client specific details, but it sounds like they were into some pretty big trouble. And you're saying that hey, they are back on the up and up, and it's been such a long time, and that yada yada, whatever it is that might be occurring. Now, with that said, if it is a felony and it is recent, when you are going through the process, there's something that all lenders do called fraud guard. So fraud guard will cross-reference, run all the numbers. And then on top of that, depending on if you're going FHA or VA, a CAVERS report could be ran. So you just need to make sure all of that checks out. I think you being hesitant is absolutely necessary when it comes to something like this. I would even call the lender and just tell them, here's the situation, map it out completely for them. Here's what it was, here's what it is, here's what I see now. It looks good. But as long as they're not, if the felony's still active and they're not ever allowed to buy a home, that's a whole different story. And obviously you can't touch this at all. But if this is like a 10, 12 years ago, nothing's there anymore, and they're able to finance things, then yes, you just have to have a very direct conversation and make sure that you are crossing your T's, dotting your I's. But I think crossing this with hesitancy is absolutely the best path forward. But again, map it out, tell the entire story, talk to the lender. There is a lot of safety nets in place just to make sure that you're not going down a weird path. And just double check. Lenders could also just say, hey, no, we're not touching this. That's okay too. You just tell the client, hey, nothing I can do.
Yeah. No, I feel like disclosing that is super important. And
Very
it just covers everyone. But moving on to our final question of the week. Hi, gang. Anyone know what to do with someone in the restaurant industry that gets $4 an hour plus tips? Borrower has been there 6 years, but I'm coming up empty for usable loan programs. What would appreciate any help? Thanks.
Okay, so I was in the restaurant business for quite some time. I think that's part of why I learned how to sell and how to communicate with people, because I worked in a place that had very different walks of life come in all the time. So for that, one of the biggest things you're going to run into, and I'm not saying I did this, but it's the fact that not all people claim their cash tips. Okay, they don't claim all of their cash tips. And so what you have to do in this instance here is you need the year-end pay stubs for the last 2 years, and then the most recent pay stub. So what you do is you're able to 2024 pay stub, you look at it year end, and you look at tips, hourly rate, and you separate those two out. So the tips are going to be looked at from a commission standpoint. And so you're simply going to follow the commission guidelines, whatever those might be for the product that you're picking. In most cases, the commission guidelines say that if it's increasing year over year, which means that if they've increased their commission year over year, then you basically are going to go ahead, add them together, and just divide that by 24 months. And that'll be what you're able to leverage for commission income. Now, the other thing that you might run into here is variable income, if they're not working the same set of hours every single week, which does add an additional component of difficulty. Now, the investors aren't doing this to be difficult. They're doing this to protect their investment. The problem is when you look at that industry specifically, there is a lot of fluctuation when it comes to the cash and the tips that come in. So they're not trying to make it harder. They're simply saying that, hey, there are certain rules and stipulations that we must meet. So get the last 2 years at year-end pay stubs, 2024, 2025. Get the most recent pay stub for this year, and then look at the pay stubs directly and look for tips and separate those out year over year. And that's the best way for you to get this, the exact income down. The hourly rate, if they work full time, it's just $4 times 40 hours a week. If it's full time, times 52 weeks. $4 times 40 times 52 divided by 12. That is what you can give them monthly hourly rate. Hope that helps.
Cool. And if you want your question answered on the Broker Power Up podcast, be sure to be an AIME member, be in the Facebook group, Brokers Are Best, and use the hashtag Broker Power Up when asking your question, and I'll be sure to get it read here on the air. If you are not, feel free to scan the QR code in this next ad, and we'll be right back with some sales pitch training and a story.
Are you a wholesale mortgage professional? Well, then the very first thing you need is a community to help you and your business grow. With AIME membership, your community is right here. Joining our community means never navigating the market alone or operating without a safety net ever again. We are 16,000 members strong of united wholesale professionals. From rookies to top-ranking originators, all dedicated to supporting each other's success so we can grow together. Beyond entry to the best community in the mortgage industry, AIME membership gives you the resources, tools, guidance, discounts, services, and support that help you and your wholesale business grow, thrive, and most importantly, close more loans. AIME membership connects you with leading wholesale lenders and vendors, offering you exclusive access, services, and discounts that save you more money while helping you make more money. Never get stuck on a loan again with our lender escalation program. Grow your network and skills with the wholesale industry's best conferences and networking events. Get the strategies and skills of top originators and industry innovators with AIME's cutting-edge wholesale mortgage education, resources, and content. AIME offers all of this and more, starting at a low price of $19.99 a month. You heard it here first, couple cups of Starbucks coffee. For you to learn more and get started, all you have to do is visit aimegroup.com, AIME group.com/membership. Your community is waiting.
And I'm waiting to become a better salesperson. John, what do you got?
All right, my friend. So this one for today, so it's a bit of a story about my grandmother, but then it's also about taking control of a conversation, being kind, but also not taking BS as you're on the call. It happens to us a lot of the times. Okay. So for me, the way I sell comes from the way I was raised. Okay. So my grandmother passed away in January, but she was a massive impact on my life. And she taught me very early on that fear cannot make your decisions for you. She would never allow us to be afraid. She would never allow us to think about the past. She was always about like what's in front of you, where you're at, and how to just be dialed in. But she also was really big on hospitality and the way you treat people. And it was huge in my household and still is to this day. My mom is a huge proponent of it. I'm a huge proponent of it. But when people are at your house, it's really important that they never go home hungry. It's really important that when they walk in, you greet them right away. It's really important that if they need water, if they need anything at all, you are there tending to them because they are a guest in your home. And my grandma was big on those two things. Now, at the end of the day, even with them being in the house, she was always talking about making sure that they're respecting your house and respecting the rules that you put in place. And she was unbelievable at that. And so for me, I want to talk to y'all because there are times where you get on the phone and you're talking to a consumer or a real estate agent, and it starts off as friendly and things are going good and they're coming into your house or you're entering into their house and you have the pleasantries going on. But then sometimes the conversations take a deep turn. And when they take that deep turn, you might not know what to do or what to say or how to handle yourself accordingly. So I'm going to give you guys a 4 or 5 step process here on how to have these conversations and how to not come a place of ego, but how to still be kind and how to still be direct and not take any BS. So the first thing that you need to understand is that you have to be the one that's leading the conversation. The consumer should always feel heard. The person on the other line always needs to feel heard, but they should also feel like you're guiding them to a better process, to a decision. A lot of salespeople are all over the place. They answer random questions. We're chasing every objection and we're losing control of the conversation. You have to start with confidence every step of the way. So something I like to say really simple is before I make any recommendations, I want to understand what you're trying to do first. So what matters most to you and what would make this potential transaction a win for you and your family? Now, some people might be saying, John, that's a big question. Well, you're right. Because number 2 in my sales tip is ask better questions. So in order for you to lead the conversation, you need to start asking better questions. A lot of salespeople talk too much. And I've been there very early in my career, right? You want to talk and you want to act like you know so much. So a lot of us, what we do early on is we say, hey, what are you looking to do? How can I help you? Well, that's such a general question that guess what? Every other loan officer that's talking to the client is asking your client the exact same thing. So there's a couple different things you can ask, right? What made you start looking into this now? What happens if you do nothing for the next 6 months? What have you already tried that doesn't work? You're trying to ask questions that can't be answered right away. What do I mean by that? You ready? If I ask my wife, how's your day? You know, she says, good. Tommy asked me, how's your day? It was good. Now, I asked my wife, hey, can you tell me one thing that happened today that was impactful to you?
That's a dialogue.
Now, there you go, right? Same thing for you, Tommy. Same thing with your conversations that y'all are having. So think about it from that lens. My job is to expand your mind. I need you thinking differently. I need you a little, not frustrated is the wrong word, but I need you really diving deep into the back of your brain and going, I can't just say good or yes. You really want to avoid that at all costs. Now, number 3 is very important. You tell the truth early. And people get this confused, right? Because some people, when they tell the truth, they do it in a way that is, I told you so.
Yeah.
And no one responds well. No, go ahead. Do you have something on that?
It like you just said it. No one responds well to that. Like you're just it instantly sets up conflict. There's no point. It's almost there's no point in saying it besides unless it's the end of the road and end of the discussion for both of you. Like there's no more continuing a conversation, which in a salesperson is the last thing you want. So
it is. And there's easy ways to do this. So let me give you guys an example. Let's just say you have a consumer that says, okay, you know what? I'm looking for the cheapest option possible. And that's all I care about. And so a way you can be direct here without saying, I told you so. A lot of loan officers say, well, there's so many different rates out there that, you know, the cheapest isn't always the best.
Cheapest in the payment or cheapest in the long run? It could be a follow-up question.
Exactly. Regardless of what it is, getting defensive or pointing the finger doesn't help. So in that situation, some people might want to walk on eggshells. I don't. Hit them between the eyes. Hey, Mr. or Mrs. Client, part of my job is to be as candid as possible with you just because this is the largest transaction for 99% of Americans. Now, based on what you've told me matters most to you and your family, the cheapest option may actually create more problems for you. Would you like to know why? Now, that's not rude. That's leadership. That's me owning the conversation and leading and just, hey, would you like to know why? You have a short deadline. You said this needs to be closed in 2 weeks. Looking at the cheapest option here, my concern is that we can't get the job done in those 2 weeks by using the cheapest lender possible. Because a lot of the time when we use the cheapest lender possible, it takes a little bit longer for them to finish the transaction. And the reason that is they put a lot of their resources into giving better pricing. But in turn, what occurs is a potentially slower process across the board. So I can't guarantee that I can get this done in 2 weeks. Are you going to lose this opportunity if we can't get this closed in 2 weeks? Y'all, think about that conversation for a second. That's a big deal. And that's how I speak and have the conversation and be direct. Now, number 4, stop chasing people that aren't serious. Okay? And what do I mean by that? This is where the questions are so important that you ask. This is one of the biggest mistakes a lot of salespeople make. Not every lead deserves unlimited time. And you do this more often as a new loan officer because you're just so green and you don't know, which is a beautiful thing, by the way. Like I love working with new LOs for that reason because they do ask so many questions and they find unique opportunities because of the questions that they ask. But you get to a point where you know what works and what doesn't work. And on top of that, you also can talk to the client and figure out what they want to do. What do I mean? These are the clients where you say, hey, outside of rates and fees, what else is important to you and your family? Nothing, just rates. Okay, no problem besides that. So we'll dive into the rate. If I can give you the cheapest rate possible, are we going to move forward today? Nope, I got to shop it around, talk to my wife, do all this. I'm not ready to do anything. Okay, no problem. And so you try, you do your thing, and you continue to spend time on that person. And then this person, you know what they do? They email you all the time asking for updated numbers. They have a different house. Hey, what's the rate look like here? What's this happen? What's that happen? Y'all, stop chasing people who aren't that serious. And you can ask the questions that I just set up. If I can solve your problems for you today, are you prepared to move forward? No. Is this a real priority right now, or are you still gathering information? There's so many different ways for you to ask that question. And then the last one I'm going to leave you with is this. be okay with silence. You
Yeah,
need to
that's a
learn how to
hard one.
mute your phone. It is for people, but Tommy, when you learn, and by the way, y'all, for me too, it
The
was for
muting.
so long, but now it's not. I don't care. Guys, I'll hit mute on my phone and then you'll see me throw a ball in the air and just wait. Like I'll just sit there waiting, take my mind off it. Because especially if I'm the one that asks the question. If I ask you a question and you're silent, I will sit there. I just asked you a question, right? Like that's my job. And you're
You're
just
on the
sitting
phone
there,
with me.
"Oh,
I asked
I
the
will wait."
question. Yeah.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting, my friends, and people, it is uncomfortable. I've just learned to live in that environment because I've had to learn. You would be surprised. Some people just are deep thinkers. Some people are very deep thinkers. A friend of mine, Jay Duran, for those that, if you don't know who he is, just great human being, but incredibly well read, very deep into the philosophy side of things, and just looks at it. When you ask him questions, he's really thinking about the question, right? He doesn't want to give a general answer. So there are times where we'll sit there for 15, 20 seconds before he replies. Not awkward at all. Some people they need that time. So give them that space. Give them that space. Don't be afraid of silence. They're on the line. They just might want to be, maybe they're thinking, maybe they're looking at their spouse like,
Maybe they hit mute and they're doing the same
yeah,
thing.
maybe,
Yeah.
or maybe they're another great salesperson. Exactly. Maybe you got me on the other line and I'm hitting mute too, and now we're just waiting. Hopefully it's not the last one. That'd be awful. But that's my point, y'all. That's tip number 5 is learn to hit mute, learn to be silent, and be okay with silence. So those are my 5 steps on how you can be kind, polite, but not take any BS from anybody, and do it in a way that's candid and doesn't ruin your reputation. So that is my stories, my friend. We appreciate you all very, very much. And that's what I got.
I got one thing off of that, and it pinged in my head early on, and then the further you went into the steps, the more it just kind of glued it all together. In that, the sales from your first interaction with them to getting them to closing is almost like a choose your own adventure novel, where you should start the conversation. You start the book as the author, and you end the book as the author, but they choose their answers along the way, but you're the one actually guiding the conversation.
Listen, the gamer in you just came right out. So I don't know. Fable's coming out. I don't know if you.
Yes, it is. I'm very excited. Early spring
so
next year. Yeah.
So for those that
I
don't
watched
know,
the gameplay demo. It's
ridiculous. So for those that don't know what Tommy's talking about, it's that kind of journey. So there's a lot of video games are doing this now, where they're adaptive to the author's the same author. So it's the same team telling the story of Fable, for example, this game. But you make key decisions and answer key questions that change the narrative of the conversation. That is exactly, you just gave me goosebumps because I love that analogy. I'm the gamer. But I'm going to write that down, actually, because I think that's a real cool way for me to tie this one together, because I want to do a lot more with this.
Absolutely. Or if not even just with, I know gaming's really popular, but also just the book, like choose your own adventure novels.
Correct.
Yeah.
Fable, making the decisions. Just want to write that down. Don't forget. Yeah, he nailed it. That's exactly it, y'all. You're the author. You're just opening up. You're allowing them certain paths to go down, but at the end of the day, you control.
You're choosing those paths. Yeah,
exactly. That's what sales. God, I love that one, Tom.
Cool. Well, I hope everyone tuning into this episode found today's tips helpful. If you did, do us a favor. Hit the like button to let us know you enjoyed it, which helps even more people see this content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Ring the bell to get notified every time we drop new content. Share this video with a fellow broker who could use a power up. Remember to lead by example, to lift each other up, and to grow together. Most importantly, close more loans. Until next time, keep powering up.